Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab. I do what I do for you. Well, I got a nice lesson for you today. We got some more good stuff coming about the per M Haru, which is you. All right, let's go. Rightism. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in to receiving them. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right Thinker's mission is to enlighten, inspire, excuse me, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission, and I'm on it. Doggone it. My mission to get all right thinkers to do just that. Know thyself. So I put together these lessons to do that just for you. So tune in and do what you do, and you'll know thyself too. All right. I asked the question: do you know you? It's rhetorical answer, but if you don't have it for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. Again, a person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. More importantly, don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock. I'm here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you, right? Thinkers. Know thyself and to my yacht be true. I'm dealing with, we're dealing with the Per Emharu. Now I'm going to take you to the term that we use, Egyptian yoga, and the philosophy behind it. Nice little page and a half information. Then I'm going to take you to the symbols of Egyptian yoga. So that'll wrap it up. Then I got some more for you, but let's start with that. All right. The term Egyptian yoga and the philosophy behind it. Egyptian yoga is what has been commonly referred to by Egyptologists as Egyptian religion. Religion is meant to get you to God. That's the purpose and the reason for it. So, in that fashion, yeah, Egyptian yoga is Egyptian religion. Watch this. But the yoga is the disciplines that help you make that possible. That's what we're going to talk about. I'm trying to get you to understand that part of it. Watch this. Now, they called it Egyptian religion or mythology, which is fine. But to think of it, here you go, as just a set of stories or allegories about a long lost civilization, if that's what you think about my Egyptian philosophy and concepts, is to completely miss the greatest secrets of human existence. The ability to know thyself is documented in the Egyptian philosophical concepts, the Pert M. Haru. We give you the layout and what to do and how to do it so that you can know thyself. That's the end game about human existence, not rich and famous. I'm not losing it. I'm not shouting. I'm not freaking out. So we good. But the idea of human existence is to know thyself. Now, as previously discussed, we talked about it. Yoga in all its forms was practiced where? In Egypt, earlier than anywhere else in history. When you can make that claim, you got to be able to back it up with evidence, not just with how you feel, what you think, and what you believe. Here's the evidence. This unique perspective from Africa provides what? A new way to look at life, religion, and the discipline of psychology. Perhaps most importantly, what? Though Egyptian mythology, when understood, here you go, when understood as a system of what? Yoga gives every individual what? Insight into their own divine nature, aka knowledge of self or mystical experience, however you want to look at it, the anointment. But this is the opportunity to do that with the yoga discipline that you can practice and make it happen for yourself. This is right thinking philosophies and yoga's true worth to get you to know you. I'm cool. I'm cool. Got my little mic right there, so I ain't got the hoop and holler, so I get it. Moving on. But this is the purpose. Well, why I gotta be a right thinker? You don't have to be nothing, but if you want to know yourself, I can give you the information that'll make that possible for you. That's it. That's all I got for you. Moving on. I'm not here to rag or disrespect nobody. I'm here to enlighten, educate, okay, inspire, and motivate. Enlighten you to something that you don't already have before you got here. Trust me. Let's go. The teachings, again, right thinking philosophy is the yoga or the what? Heart of the Pert M. Haru. As explained in the word, it says yoga is a Sanskrit term meaning what? Meaning to unite the individual with the cosmos. The term has been used in certain parts of this book for ease of what? Communication, since the word yoga has received wide popularity, especially in the Western countries in recent years. Everybody about yoga this, yoga that, okay. But it's a practice that the Indians been practicing for a long time. The Egyptians even longer. So watch this. But now the ancient Egyptians, again, ancient Egyptian equivalent of yoga is what? Sama Tawi, or Sama at this point. Watch this. Sama means what? To union, come together, bring together, unite. And the following determinative terms gives it what? A spiritual significance, at once equating it with what? With the term yoga, as it is used in India, when used in conjunction, watch this, with the ancient Egyptian symbol, which means land, and Thai, the term union of the two lands. The two lands, right quick, subliminal message or esoteric message for all my fans who understand what I'm saying. You are Egypt. Upper Haru, lower head set. You got two of them. See the body with the two heads? That's you. They just put it up here. Get the concept? Now let's talk about from chapter. It's pronounced Samatawi. Smaitawi. And this is from the Pert M. Haru, chapter 4, what it says. In chapter 4 of the Pert M. Haru, a term, Smaitawi, is used, and what it means? It means union of the two lands of Egypt. Yourself, ergo Egyptian yoga. The two lands refer to what? The two main districts of the country, north and south. Fine. Hope you're getting the concept here. If some of y'all can follow along, but I'm gonna help y'all at the end. Now, in ancient times, Egypt was divided into two sections or two land areas. These were known as Lower Egypt, Upper Egypt. In ancient Egyptian mystical philosophy, watch this, the land of Upper Egypt relates to what? The divinity, ready? Haru. Another name, Horus. And what happened? Who represents what? Your higher self, aka God, and the land of the lower Egypt, below the belt, the other head, men. We got two heads. The upper one's Haru, the bottom one is Set. Watch this, I'm proving to you right now. Now the upper one is the higher yourself, right? Watch this. Now you got the land of what? The lower Egypt, below the waist. Watch this. That union of the lower, relates to who? Set, which is what? Your ego. And what's this? Set, the divinity of what? Your lower self. Starting to get the concept? So Smatawi means what? The union of the two lands, or the two unions, or the union of the what? Lower self and the higher self. You see the picture I showed you before with the body, Haru on one side, Set on the other. Okay, they couldn't put the other fellow there, so they used Set as the appendage. Sounds familiar? That thing is called an appendage for a reason. But watch this now. The lower self relates to what? Here you go. What's the problem? What's the problem with Set? What's the problem with the lower? I'm gonna tell you right now. That which is what? Negative and you ready? Uncontrolled in the human mind. Okay? While the higher self relates to what? That which is above temptation and is good in the human heart. Thus, we also have what? The ancient Egyptian term Sma Haru Set, meaning lower or higher and lower, or the union of what? Haru and Set. So Sma Tawi or Sma Haru and Set are the ancient Egyptians' word which can be translated as Egyptian yoga. I'm gonna show you a picture here. I might have seen it before. Okay, you see the ones on top? Those are the 4 items of Egyptian yoga. Okay, I'm gonna break that down for you. And you see right here, you got Set and Haru. But if you look at their bodies, the markings of the body is the same, they're identical. Only difference is one have a papyrus and other got the lotus flower. That's an important concept, why upper and lower. But you see they both bodies are the same, meaning the same body, just different mindsets, different concepts that you live by. And your lower self pretty much is the uncontrollable part that just wants what it wants, the ego self. Again, back in my day, I don't want to disrespect nobody from back in the day, but when I used to tell people, or women, not people, but I tell women, baby, kiss me on my ego. My ego's down there, not up here. So let's stay there. I'm gonna move on. Let's get to this lesson. Sorry about that, but yeah, it's not a good thing. Okay, the ego, lower nature, it's never good. So let's break the signs down for yoga. Above, I just showed you left to the right the symbols of the Egyptian yoga. Smile. The first one is Sama, second one is Nefer, the third one is Da'am, and the fourth one is Hotep. All those are different signs. And they all have a different meaning. Now, in the ancient Egyptian language and symbols, I got a book called Signs and Symbols that go way back. Okay, that was always important. We just modified them and put them out there. Watch this. Ancient Egyptian language and symbols provide what? The first historical record of what? Yoga philosophy and religious literature. We put it in writing. The Indian culture of the Indus Valley, Dravidians, and the Harpians also appear to have what? Carried it on and expanded what? Much of the intellectual expositions in the what? The form of, remember the Vedas, the Upanishads, okay? The Tantras, and the ancient spiritual texts of India. So everybody took a little bit of what we call yoga or ancient Egyptian philosophy. But watch this. Now the hieroglyphic sign for what they call Sema, S-E-M-A, or you just pound it S-M-A. That's the sign with the trachea coming down, connecting with the lung. Watch this. And it represented by what? The union of the 2 lungs, as you see connected, and the trachea, the windpipe, for the oxygen. Symbolizes what? That the union of the higher self and your lower self leads to what? The one. Everything goes back, comes from the one. Understand that. When you become conscious of that, you become part of the one. If you don't know that, you think you are an individual, not the one. Okay? You think you're mortal. Okay? We are gods in human form. Spiritual beings having human experience. But we need to become conscious of that. My job is to get everybody can to become conscious of that fact and understand it and live by it and see the difference. That's all. Know thyself. The hieroglyph, sorry about that. Number 2, let's go. That was A. Now B is the Nefer. It's close to the pronunciation of Neter, which is God. And it expressed what? By the union of, what's this? The heart and the trachea. Okay, you see the bottom like a bubble? That's the heart and the trachea. And what this symbolizes? It symbolizes that which is the most beautiful thing, the highest good, and the greatest achievement that we can ever reach. Okay? The heart and trachea given in the life form. That's it. Now you got the hieroglyphic for the Ankh. The Ankh symbolizes what? The union of male, the cross temporal, and the female, the circle of eternal. And they both are aspects of what? Of oneself. Leading to what? The transformation into what? An androgynous being. You're neither male or female in the spirit. In the flesh, you have to have a sex to denote what you are in the flesh. Other than that, you don't need that. So you're androgynous. Okay. So this too, I've been trying to get you that point across for a while too. But watch this. Now, the two become what? One. The Ankh, watch this, was also later used in what? In Christianity and in Hinduism for what? As a symbol of what? Divinity. Therefore, the Ankh is a unifying, again, symbol which what? Links Egypt, India, and the Christendom all together with the same concept or the philosophical principles. The last one, the hieroglyphic Hotep, is spelled HTP. If you flip it, it'd be PTH, which is Ptah. Hotep is supreme peace. Hotep is supreme peace. And what happened? It symbolizes, again, supreme peace. The final abode, watch this, of all who what? Satisfy the desires of their souls and become united with what? Their higher self, aka know themselves. We call that yoga. Egyptian yoga, meaning uniting both parts of the body to come together as one. And the Egyptian yoga encompasses what? Many myths and philosophies to enlighten and educate, which what? Which will lead you to the what? The reunion of your soul with this higher self. You wonder why when we come here, why? The soul is just give life. The consciousness comes from us learning who we are. We come here not knowing who we are. So the goal when we here is what? To know thyself. Make it real simple. I didn't get to hold on, drawn out about that. But let's get back to the lesson. The goal for all humans is to know thyself. Let's go. Ancient Egyptian religion, watch this. It involves three major theological branches based on what? The trinity of what we consider God. Remember, Amun, hidden, Ra, visible, Ptah, manifested in the flesh, self-created. And watch this. And all which this means what? It which emanates out of what? The hidden and the nameless, the transcendental divinity, aka God. This divinity is what? This divinity is variously known, you ready? Under the following names. You ready? They say he's nameless. Egyptians call him Nebercha, or Tem, Tem, or Neter, one God. Neteru, gods, male and female. Then you got Amun, you got Asar, you got Ra, you got Keper, you got Aset. These names, again, are to be understood. Listening? These names are to be understood as being synonymous. They refer to what? The same idea of what? Absolute supreme being or transcendental reality from which the phenomenal world arises, meaning the creator of all things. As land rises out of what? The ocean, the noon we call it. Hope you're understanding this, but watch this. Now the central figure and most popular character within the ancient Egyptian religion is who? You ready? Asar, aka God for us, and his son Haru, which is you in the flesh. Hence, the Son of God, yeah, that's us in the flesh, who was what? Watch this. Who is an incarnation of his Father. That's who we are in the flesh. Asar, the original man, from spirit into physical form. He came from spirit to matter. Now, when we hear in the physical form, we got to get back to the spiritual part. We hear in the matter, we want to go back to spirit. That means we got to become what? Conscious mentally. And watch this. Now, Asar is killed by his brother Set, which represents your ego. The hieroglyph for Set is the man with a hatchet to his head. Need I say more? And watch this. He was killed by his brother Set, who what? Who out of greed. Now, these are characteristics of Satanian people. They're greedy, they're demonic, that's Satanian tendencies. And what happened? They crave to what? To want to rule or be in charge. In Set's case, he wanted to rule Egypt. That means the body. He wants to be in charge. With the help of who? Tahuti, which is what? The god of wisdom. You need that. Then you got Aset, which is the great mother, and Het Haru, which is your consort. Haru prevailed in what? The battle against Set, which is the holy war within yourself. Your lower nature. For what? The rulership of what? Kemet, aka Egypt. I told you earlier, Egypt is you. Okay, I can change all that and get right to the point. Your lower nature wants to control you. And if you don't have God tendency, which is a wherewithal to know thyself, it will. It will kill you. It will destroy you. No ifs, ands, buts about it. That's the concept. Trying to break it down for you real simple. Let me wrap this lesson up for you. But remember, when they say Egypt, they're saying you, the individual part of you. Your lower nature is in conflict with your higher. Now, watch this. It tells you and Set, it wants to be the what? He wants to be the rulership of Kemet, which is Egypt, which is you. And Haru's struggle, what? Haru's struggle, watch this, symbolizes the struggle of what? Every human being to what? Regain their rulership of what? Their higher self, their original self, and to what? Subdue their lower self. Ding, 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 aka your ego self. Lower nation. Again, the subliminal message is always in there, but the esoteric message you got to read between the lines and understand. I'm trying to make that easy for you so you can get the point. Moving on. Where we at? So now, with this understanding of self and knowledge, the land of what? Egypt, you, is now equivalent to what? The kingdom or queendom, the concept of Christianity. That's what they say. But with that knowledge and understanding, that's what makes that possible for every individual. Not just claiming. No, you got to live it. You got to be it. It's every individual's choice and their birthright to know thyself. Sorry about that. Let me wrap this up right quick. I got a good one ending up. The most ancient writings in our historical period are from the ancient Egyptians. Understand that. And these writings are referred to as hieroglyphics, or we know them as the Medjugorje. Also, the most ancient civilization known was the ancient Egyptian civilization. Again, the proof of this lies in what? The ancient Egyptian Sphinx, the first monument, taking man from the beastly nature. Understand the concept. We go from our beastly nature into our consciousness. Man has consciousness to become what? God-like in the flesh. And as previously discussed, I told you about the story before, the original name given to these writings by the ancient Egyptians, who we called it the Medjugorje. The Greeks called it hieroglyphics, and we still use it. What the Greeks, I got a lesson for them coming up. I get angry every time I think about them guys. But calm down. But yeah, Medjugorje is what the Egyptian called it. And watch this. What the Medjugorje mean? Meaning the writing of God. This is why your biblical, your Christian followers think the Bible was written by God. We knew hieroglyphics. The Medjugorje that we know it as was writing of God. Okay, that's where y'all got the concept from. What's this? The writing of God, or netu metu, or what it means, what? Divine speech. These writings are inscribed where? In the temples, on coffins, on papyruses, and also contain the teachings in reference to what? The spiritual nature of human beings and the ways to what? Promote spiritual emancipation, aka spiritual awakening, or what they know it as the resurrection. Ancient Egyptian proverbs presented, watch this, in this next text are translated from the original hieroglyphics scripture. An example of hieroglyphic text is presented on the front of the book we did that I gave that breakdown the cover. Okay, watch this. Now, the Egyptian philosophy states, and you can sum it up in what's the following proverbs, which clearly states, watch this, that the soul is heavenly or divine, God, and that what? The human being, the body, must awaken to what? The true reality, which is the spiritual self, your higher self, Haru. That's you. Understand this. Self-knowledge, meaning having knowledge of self, is the basis of true knowledge, aka spiritual truth. Okay? Soul to heaven, body to earth. Put a pin in that right quick. Got a few minutes. I use this to take that argument about when they came back, the stone was rolled away and Christ was gone, body and all. Dun, 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 dun. Sherlock Holmes said, elementary, Watson, why? That's not possible. But we're going to take care of that argument later on. I got a prescription for that too. But my point to that is we know the spirit goes, not the body. So hold that thought. Moving on. This is the purpose of us as humans. Man is to become God-like through what? A life of righteous virtue and the cultivation of what? The spirit through what? Scientific knowledge. Meaning you study it, you can manifest what you're learning. You put it to life, you manifest it for yourself. That's the experience that you gain from learning and knowing thyself. And what? You practice and you perform your bodily discipline. Why? Because salvation, listen, is accomplished through the efforts of every individual. There is no mediator between man and his or her salvation or God. Salvation is what? The freeing of the soul from the bodily fetters, becoming a God through what? Knowledge, not belief and superstitions, and wisdom. Why? Living it, performing it, experiencing it, and you end up controlling the forces of the cosmos, nature, instead of being what? A slave to them and subduing what? Your lower nature. Again, that's the major part of becoming your best self. And through what? Awakening the higher self, knowing thyself, and you what? By doing this, listen, this is the ending of the cycle of what? Rebirth and dwelling with what? The netters who direct and control the great plains, aka known to the most heaven. We call it the afterlife or the dua. But that's where the spirits go when they pass the scales of Maya as being a human good person in the flesh and waking up knowing thyself. They go home. No more reincarnating, no more coming back. That's what the whole point about right thinking philosophy and our Egyptians ancients want to get us to know as people. We don't keep on recycling. You come here once, do what you got to do, and go on back home. That's my lesson at the end of all. Hope you enjoyed it. And party, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100 and me 100 minus a day. So I never know the nice right thinker like you have passed away. Oh, I got